Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of The Isle. Today, I'm going to do something a little different for the Utahraptor showcase, because my own server, is now visible in the server list with the filters and the Citadel servers fixing everything and getting it all working and yada yada, so I finally now have admin powers to do stuff and things. So I'm going to try something a little different for the roars than I did with the tenontosaurus, and we are going to hear what the roars, each one, sounds like at 5 different growth stages. 0% grown, which is fresh spawn, 25%, 50%, 75%, and 100% fully grown. And we're going to hear them all progressively in one fell swoop for each roar, because I can just change my growth stage as needed. So, we are going to take a look at all the roars and then the animations and have some fun with that. I will need a body to showcase pouncing and eating, but we'll get to that later. For now, let us take a listen to all of the different roars for the creatures. Now, I noticed on the tenontosaurus that I could not see a difference between holding the 1 and 3 buttons and just tapping them, where there's supposed to apparently be a difference. However, with the Utahraptor, there is an actual noticeable difference. So, we will get to see those. The difference doesn't actually come into play, though, until you're adult. At a juvenile / baby stage, you can't really hear a difference between the two. But for future reference, I will be holding the call for the first roar and tapping it for the second. I'm going to do each roar twice for every stage. Are you ready? Here we go. Let me make sure that I'm actually fresh spawn, 0 grown. Okay, good. Here we go. Here is the broadcast for the Utahraptor. You'll notice that when you become a full adult, the tapping of the one call becomes the bark. And the holding it becomes the long, drawn-out, hissy bark broadcast. Like so. So the friendly call for the Utahraptor, let me make sure I am 0 grown. Here we go. Friendly call, Utahraptor. And that is the friendly call for the Utahraptor. I have always loved the Utahraptor's calls. They haven't really changed them much, except for adding that bit of dynamic scaling to them, so that they go from juvenile, or hatchling to juvenile to adult. I'm really, really enjoying the dynamic growth. Not having to click a button and just kind of being able to tell when you're in the wild and you hear Utahraptors roaring. You're like, oh, that pack has some juveniles with it, or that pack has some hatchlings with it. Or, oh shit, that pack has all adults with it. You know, stuff like that. It's so cool to be able to tell if you can pick out the nuances in the calls. Alright, let us take a look at the threaten call. Let's see if it bugs me out again. It did not that time. Okay, so here is the threaten. Let me get away from the river. It's a little annoying. Alright, here is the threaten for a freshly spawned hatchling Utahraptor. It is very hissy. For the threaten, remember, with every 2 roars, the first one I'm holding the button down, and the second one I'm just tapping it. This one is one of the calls where there is a difference. It looks like it's actually dynamically different for the threaten, at least, as compared to the broadcast. So as I'm growing, I'm able to start already telling a difference with the amount of voice power behind the hiss. Whereas if I just tap it, it's just the hiss, an airy sound. Much quieter. I like it a lot. I like it. Oh, it's so good. Now let's take a look at the danger call. Danger, Will Robinson. Number 4. Danger / help / whatever. But yeah, here it is for the hatchling. Oh my god, they made it sound so freaking adorable, I can't even. I like the animation for it. I like the sound. It is similar to Legacy Isle. I like that there's some familiar sounds in here so that we can kind of get a beat on and remember, you know, things that we already knew and we don't have to relearn a bunch of different calls and audio. I like that. I like that. The tenontosaurus is challenging enough to learn its different nuances. I like my Utahraptor. I like the Utahraptor. I like the way it is. I like the way it looks. So yeah, there are the calls. Now let us try the F call, the talkie talk. Okay, we are now back on the beach, so let's check the F call for the talkie talk. Oh my god, it sounds so adorable. It is just a squeak. Now it starts getting some of the trilling. Now we start getting more of the trilling, although it still has a tiny bit of the squeak left. Here's the barking bark. Getting there. This is what you hear when people are just chatting in the game. And there you have it. There are all of the roars for the Utahraptor. Let's take a look at some of the other basic animations, like running. I love the Utahraptor's running animation. The juvenile Utahraptor, I think it might need some work. I'm not sure. Let's listen. Let me show you. Well, for one thing, I'm scratched up again. But I don't know what it is about this run that bothers me so much. I think its upper body is just it doesn't lower forward enough. I think it's part of it is the legs. I think it also might just be that it is so small and moving so fast that no matter how they try and change the animation, it will just look a little janky. But the legs seem to like flick backwards, and I'm not sure. It's adorable, don't get me wrong. It just also just looks a little wonky. One thing about the Utahraptor is it skids if you stop suddenly. Which I really like. It makes you feel like you have momentum. It makes you feel like you're something big, even when you're tiny. Kicking up a little dust cloud. Then let's take a look at the trot animation. I love how bouncy the tail is for the trot. I like it a lot. Look at them hips. Them hips don't lie. Let's look at the trot for the Jew. That looks adorable. It looks like a little duck. Waddle, waddle. And Maroc, this one's for you. Waddle away. Waddle, waddle, waddle. And the Utah walked up to the laminate. Nope, that's it. I'm done. Okay. But yeah, it is absolutely cute. And then the walking. I haven't actually walked very much as a hatchling. So that looks interesting. Its legs are very long. Maybe that's it. Maybe it grows into them, maybe? Let's look at the walk animation. As an adult. Oh yeah, see, I love that. It's so menacing looking. Tail just lazily waving behind it. Surveying its domain. And its legs are long too. I don't know. But I like the walk animation a lot. Alright, let us go find some mud to wallow in. And oh, first off, let me do the sniffing. That's a good one. Now with the sniffing animation, you can just hold it. You hold Q and just keep holding it, and the animation just cycles. You can stop it at any time. Oh, there's a corpse over there. Perfect. That must have been one of my previous bodies. I can showcase the eating. So, you can hold it at any time, or hold it as long as you want and let go at any time. You can also hold it while trotting, as a Utahraptor in particular. And it does a simple animation. Like, for me, I personally have a really hard time seeing when someone is sniffing while walking or trotting. I hear it, though. You can hear that sound. It's definitely not as pronounced when you stop moving. And you can transition between moving and standing still and continue to hold the scent button, which is great for if you're trying to track something in the dense foliage and you're just like looking down trying to find the tracks. You lose them, you stand still for a second, just scan around, and then you pick it back up. And as you can see, the footprints behind me, they're updating dynamically. My own footprints. So if somebody's moving around in the woods near you, you will see their footprints highlight immediately when they take steps. I like that a lot. A lot. So let's go over here. There is the sitting. Here is the... Just in case you wanted to see it, here's the sniffing... Wait. Just in case you wanted to see it, here's the sniffing as a juvenile. It's the same animation, it's just kind of scaled down to small size. So here is one of my previous hatchling bodies. That's a baby tenonto. That's not me. Who died? Well, it only fitting that you see the eating animation, juvie to juvie. Not making any noise. Oh, the server crashed. Lovely. Fatal error. Okay, that's fine. Alright, after some brief technical difficulties, here is the juvenile Utah eating animation. The corpses wiggle, and you grab a chunk of meat and swallow it, and then your muzzle becomes bloody. Look at that. That is so sick. That is so sick. That's so cool. Now, if I continue eating, I will make myself sick, because I'm already full. So I can just keep eating, and then I throw up. There's the vomiting animation. I just remembered that pressing F9 to hide the chat is also the hotkey for pausing my recording, so you missed me eating and throwing up as an adult, so let me redo that. Stop laughing, husband. Probably can't hear you in the video, but that's fine. Okay. As you can see, Shadow Fox was the lovely corpse donator. I guess the chat's just gonna have to stay up for a minute here while I do this. And I think my stats are bugged again, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna actually throw up. But the eating, the corpses twitch when you're eating from them. You get that little piece of meat that swings around. And just swallow it. Oh, and there we go. Bleh. I threw up. Ate too much. Nasty. That would be interesting if it had its own smell, does it? No, it doesn't highlight. The corpses do, though. That is one thing that I didn't actually mention. You saw it a minute ago when I was finding this corpse, but the corpses themselves now have a red glow. There's not gore piles, so to speak. I don't know if there's going to be, but there aren't yet. So the red icon, where blue is water and green is herbivore food, red is a corpse. And they glow until you get right up to them, and then they just kind of sparkle red. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Okay, before we get into the new stuff, there was a couple of animations that I completely forgot about. One being attacking, so we're going to do that as a baby, and then again as an adult, just so you can see what it looks like. They do a little claw grab bite thing. So that's the attack animation. And here is the swimming animation. I really like it, actually. And it's just like the tenontosaurus, where you can swim a little faster by pressing shift. Kicks up more water, too. However, Utahraptor overall swims slower than the tenontosaurus, which you will have noticed in some of my Utahraptor hunt highlights if you've watched those. The tenontosaurus on most servers use the water to great effectiveness to fend off Utahraptors, because not only do Utahraptors swim slower than tenontos, they also start swimming in shallower water. So where I'm swimming here right now, a tenontosaurus would probably be standing. And where you walk in deep water, you are forced to run much slower. See, I'm trying to run here. Wait, I'm trying to run. And yet I'm forced to a trot speed or less. As soon as I get out of the water, I resume running. But once I hit the water that's any sort of deep, what about maybe a little less than knee-high, I'm immediately slowed to that trotting walk thing. Which I think is really cool, but that makes tenontosaurus have an extreme advantage in the swamps and near the river's edges, which is a very good tactic for fending them off. I did the drinking animation, or the eating animation, so now let's take a look at the drinking. I noticed that the mouth doesn't really go very low, like, unless I actually look down, my head doesn't dip into the water very well. I have to, if I want to make it look right, I have to stand in, like, almost ankle deep. But it's very smooth and I like it. You can interrupt it at any time. You get water once the animation completes the cycle, so I think, like, I'd get some water right there. And then I'd get another tick right about there. But my water was full, so we didn't actually get to see it. The turning in place on the Utahraptor is also extremely nice. I like the tippy tap. When you go sharply from one direction to the other, the Utahraptor kind of bobs its head down and turns very sharply. I like it. I like it a lot. I like to just skid back and forth. If you don't get enough speed, you don't actually skid. One of the animations that I almost always forget about is laying down. So I'm going to showcase that really quick. so cute. I like how it puts its front hands, claws, paws, whatever, like on the ground to help itself get up and sit down. Or maybe it's just kind of angling its hand that way. Either way, I like that animation a lot. That, I think, is it for the quote-unquote old mechanics. Now we're going to be getting into some of the newer animations, like wallowing. Yes, even the Utahraptor can wallow. I love it so much. So now if I run over here, you'll be able to see my scent trail, but not the trail that just leads up to where I went. See? No footsteps. Great way to lose your attackers if you have the time to wallow when you're trying to escape or evade someone. Definitely do it. I try to actually wallow as often as possible because I have actually found and hunted people by randomly smelling footprints, like crossing a path or along the riverbank, especially because they stand out in the mud very, very well. So that is the wallow animation. I'm gonna do it one more time on the top down. Also because it's fucking adorable. You just hold E while looking at mud. The riverbanks are not the only place with mud. There's some along some of the roads. There's little dried up riverbeds trailing through the forests. But usually they're found near the water. Alright, now for some of the new animations that you've all been waiting for. First off, we're going to look at corpse carrying. Now, corpse carrying is an interesting mechanic because your speed actually changes depending on how heavy the corpse is that you're carrying. Now, if I look, this very tiny freshly spawned tenontosaurus corpse, if I look at it and press G, I can pick it up, I can move almost normally with it, I can run with it, my head is down, I love that so much. So I'm picking it up, it's in my mouth, I can take my food wherever I want. Press G to let it go. Now, this halfway grown Utahraptor, 50% grown, I can pick it up and I can kind of move with it, but it's pretty slow. So once you get to anything that's about half your size, it gets extremely difficult to carry. This is a half-grown tenontosaurus. I can still barely carry it. You want to try and grab it near the head or neck region. If I try and grab it by the tail, I don't think it works. Let me double check. Yeah, I'm pressing G. It's not doing anything. You have to get up near the head. And you grab it, and you move it. So you're moving extremely slow. I can't sprint. This is as fast as I can move while carrying this large corpse. I can also carry adult Utahraptor. It is just as big as I am, but again, extremely slow. Dragging it along. The cool thing is even when someone is carrying a corpse, you can smell it. Even while it's moving. So see how it still has that red particle effect? If I were far away, I would see the corpse particle effect, the one that moves towards me, moving as the corpse moved. And then fully a grown adult tenontosaurus, Utahraptor, cannot carry. It is too heavy. Cannot move it. Cannot move it at all. Okay. So that is corpse carrying. Already done the wallowing. What's next? What's next? I wonder. I wonder. Now for my favorite mechanic, personally, and that is pouncing. But wait, before we show that, hold the phone. There's one other animation that I wanted to show you that has to do with when you attack and kill a freshly spawned juvenile Utahraptor, which I assume will also apply for other very small creatures, but for now it only works for the Utahraptor. And that is the swallow whole. Does not work on juvenile tenonto, as far as I'm aware, but it does work on juvenile Utahraptor. So, it's a very small Utahraptor. If I go up and I go to attack it, I literally just bite, and then it's in my mouth. I didn't have to press G or anything. If I left click again, actually, what is that command? E? Yes, if I press E, I immediately inhale the body. It gives me about 1/5 food, so obviously you're not going to get very full from doing that, but, you know, cannibalizing, near starvation, freshly spawned Utahraptors are easy meals, because you just grab them, eat them, just like that. Done. Now we get to my favorite animation, and that is the pounce. So, there are different pouncing animations for when you're pouncing different things. When you pounce a juvenile tenontosaurus, you lay it flat on the ground, and it can't really go anywhere or do anything. In order to do the pounce, you look in the general direction that you want to go, and you right-click. Holding right-click keeps the pounce going. And as you see, it didn't take very long for me to kill her. You hold right-click, and you pounce. Juvenile tenontosaurus cannot do anything, fight back, anything. Adult Utahraptor also cannot fight back, cannot do anything when it's pounced. But when you pounce another adult Utahraptor, it does this. A full stamina bar does not kill an adult Utahraptor. It damages them severely, but I ran out of stamina before I killed him. I wasn't full, but even if I had been, it would not have fully killed him. And when you pounce an adult tenontosaurus, they have several different things that they can do. Now, the pouncing mechanic is extremely fun. I can go into detail in it in another video. In this case, I just want to show the animation itself. We can get into more detail in a Utahraptor combat video at another time. But for now, let me heal myself so that I get my stamina back. And then this is what it looks like when you pounce an adult tenonto. That is what happens when you aim too high with your pounce. Try again. This is what it looks like when you're latched on. One other thing I want to point out is when you're latched on to a tenontosaurus, let me heal. Latched onto a tenontosaurus, when you pounce it and it right clicks, it does this triple buck. Look at how my stamina dropped from it kicking like that. It killed my stamina. Jessie Diger's stamina is probably down 1 toenail because she right-clicked 1 time, but it bucks 3 times when a tenontosaurus is latched and drains stamina with each buck. Like I said, I can go into more detail on tenontosaurus and Utahraptor fighting, pouncing, and combat in another video, but just wanted to showcase that animation. So, pouncing on juveniles or small things will make them unable to move. Pouncing on a hatchling tenontosaurus also makes it unable to move. Pouncing on an adult Utahraptor makes it unable to move. And as far as I'm aware, there is no way to remove something from you when you are an adult Utahraptor and you are being pounced by another Utahraptor. You cannot get them off. You just have to wait it out. They're either going to drain their own stamina trying to kill you, or they're going to let go and have some stamina left to try and continue chasing you. As an adult tenontosaurus, you have several options, but like I said, just showcasing the animation here. So that was the pounce, and yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this Utahraptor showcase. Appreciate you all for stopping by and taking a look. If you want to practice combat or play fight or anything like that, the Jinawee TV Playground server is now open for business. There isn't always a moderator on, but if you're in our Discord and want to do something, you can always shout out to one of us and we could try and hop in and help. But other than that, thank you all for watching, and have a great day.